Welcome back to another episode of Crack the Code. I'm your host, Cora Naylor, and today we're going to be talking about self-sabotage, some of the ins and outs of how it works, how to uncover the reasons behind our self-sabotaging behaviors, and we'll give you some strategies to get over it so you can reach your full potential. So I got the idea for this episode after reading the book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendrick. And if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. In the book, the author talks about how we all have this upper limit, and he calls it the upper limit problem, or ULP, and how we often get to a certain point when striving for our goals, and then we sabotage ourselves. And it doesn't seem to matter who you are either. We all have these self-limiting beliefs, these limits in our minds, even CEOs of the top companies. So it doesn't really matter where you are on the spectrum. So maybe you can relate to this. You find yourself making progress on a goal, and then all of a sudden you have some setbacks that seem to come out of nowhere. Maybe you have a fight with somebody, maybe you just don't meet the deadline, or maybe you just kind of forget about it, or you just maybe not properly preparing, or it comes out as procrastinating. I know personally I did something similar to this recently. I was going to launch a new program, and then I just delayed talking about it. I didn't really promote it. And then that way, you don't really feel like you failed because you didn't really do it. So maybe you can relate to that. So this type of pattern is our self-sabotage. And it's that inexplicable way that we hinder our own success, often just as we're about poised to make a breakthrough. So what is that self-sabotage? Why do we gain in this? Why do we engage in this counterproductive behavior? Self-sabotage is so subtle. It's often unconscious, that act of undermining our own progress, success, and happiness. And it's as if there's an invisible force within us that pushes us back against our efforts to achieve our goals. This sabotage can manifest in various ways: procrastination, self-doubt, negative self-talk, fear of success, or even creating unnecessary conflicts in our lives. It's as if we're hitting a ceiling on our own achievements and finding ways to pull ourselves back down. So why do we do self-sabotage? What compels us to take actions that directly contradict our desires for success and happiness? The answer is not always easy to understand, and is often rooted in a combination of psychological and emotional factors. So here's a few possible explanations or things that could happen. One is that fear of the unknown. That fear of stepping into the unknown can trigger self-sabotage. Our comfort zones feel safe and familiar, and the idea of venturing beyond them can be daunting. As we approach the brink of a breakthrough, our subconscious mind can be overwhelmed by the uncertainty of what lies ahead, causing us to retreat to the familiar territory of our comfort zone. Because that subconscious, it's really trying to protect us. But when we're trying to grow, we don't need that same kind of protection. The other thing is limiting beliefs. Deep-seated beliefs about our self-worth and capabilities can be a breeding ground for self-sabotage. If we have beliefs such as I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve success, these convictions can unconsciously manifest as behaviors that hold back our progress. Our actions align with our beliefs, which perpetuates this type of self-sabotage. Fear of success. And this is an interesting one because we don't often think about this. We're always thinking about fear of failure and not fear of success. Yeah, you've heard that right. And I think this happens a lot more than we know, especially with women. And success, can bring about change in your life. With success becomes different levels of responsibility, visibility, and maybe even envy from others. And these factors can create a fear of being judged or having to live up to new expectations. Subconsciously, we might self-sabotage to avoid these potential consequences of success. Protection from discomfort, right? Our subconscious is trying to protect us and keep us comfortable. It doesn't want us to expand. So that familiarity can be comforting, even if it means staying in a less than ideal situation. Self-sabotage can serve as a defense mechanism, preventing us from experiencing discomfort that might arise from new challenges or uncharted territories. By sabotaging our progress, we inadvertently shield ourselves from the discomfort of change. And as we look into these intricacies of self-sabotage, it's important to recognize that these behaviors are not a reflection of our inadequacy or lack of determination. Rather, they're a manifestation of our inner self's intricate mechanism for self-preservation and maintaining that sense of equilibrium. So here's the cool part, though. Self-sabotage is not a fixed state. We have the power to identify, address, and ultimately prevent it from hijacking our journey to success. So let's look at some strategies that can help you create a smoother path towards your goals. First one is cultivate that self-awareness. Pay attention to the moments when self-sabotaging behaviors emerge. Are you procrastinating when you should be taking action? Are you talking yourself out of opportunities? By shining a light on these patterns, you can begin to understand their power. Challenge your limiting beliefs. Question the beliefs that are behind your self-sabotage. Engage in introspection to identify those beliefs and then challenge their validity. Replace them with empowering beliefs that align with your goals and aspirations. Remember, beliefs are not fixed. You have the power to reshape them. Embrace that discomfort. Understand as we grow, there is going to be discomfort, especially for women in business. Every time we grow in our business, we have to grow into that next step. So every time we'll have more challenges and discomfort. So just know that that's coming and embrace it as a sign that you're pushing boundaries and evolving. Instead of retreating when things get uncomfortable, lean into the discomfort and go with the flow to allow change and progress. And set realistic goals. I know we hear all these about, having the big, hairy, audacious goals, but that's sometimes when that self-sabotage emerges and, prevents us from achieving those goals. So if you do have that big goal, that's great, but break it down into smaller, manageable steps. When you see it like that, it makes it more achievable. And it also reduces that overwhelm and the pressure that you might be getting that would trigger the self-sabotage. So let's look at a couple ways we can prevent the sabotage using the emotion code. As an emotion code practitioner, I've seen profound impacts of releasing trapped emotions on my clients' lives. These trapped emotions, often coming from past experiences, they create energetic blocks that manifest as self-sabotaging patterns. Sometimes they're our own emotions, and sometimes we get them inherited or absorbed from other people. So with the emotion code, we can identify and release these trapped emotions and help clear that path for success, allowing you to rise beyond these self-imposed limitations. Imagine discovering a trapped emotion rooted in a childhood event where you were made to believe you couldn't achieve your dreams. And sometimes these emotions are actually totally different events that come up, and it's part of the trigger. But these unresolved emotions might be holding you back from achieving the success that you want. And releasing the emotions can be a game changer, enabling you to rewrite your narrative and confidently embrace the success that you deserve. So how can the emotion code help you in this journey? First, we're going to identify the trapped emotions. When you work with an emotion code practitioner like myself, or if you want to read the book and learn how to do it yourself, you can do it that way. And you can identify and release the trapped emotions that may be behind that self-sabotaging behavior. This process involves tapping into your subconscious to pinpoint those specific emotions that have been holding you back. Then you can release and transform. So utilizing this energy healing technique like the emotion code, or there's lots of other options out there as well that you can explore. So you can release these trapped emotions and replace them with positive, empowering energies. And then once those emotional barriers have been taken away, it's easy to cultivate the beliefs that support your goals and aspirations. Engage in daily affirmations, positive self-talk, and visualization exercises to reinforce your newfound sense of empowerment. As we conclude this episode, remember that the key to conquering self-sabotage lies in understanding what the causes are and using strategies that empower you to get past these limits. Whether you're embracing self-awareness, challenging limiting beliefs, leaning into that discomfort, or using the emotion code, you have these tools to transform self-sabotage into stepping stones towards your dreams. So if you want any more information, feel free to connect with me through my website, coranailer.com, where you can learn more about the emotion code. You could book a one-on-one session, or just if you want to just chat and get some more information, feel free to reach out to me. Because just remember, you're not on this path alone. There's lots of other support and people out there going through this same exact thing. So be sure to, join a group or surround yourself with other like-minded women as you're going through these things. And just remember, it's never too late to get started.